Hey, good morning, team. Today is the 2nd of July, 2020. It is a Thursday, so that means it is Hunt the Good Stuff Thursday. So what does Hunt the Good Stuff mean? Well, if you've had the Army resiliency training, that's one of the places that the trainers like to start, because learning to appreciate the good things that are going on in your life can actually help you rewire your brain to be able to look. Really, it increases your mental agility, so that sometimes when you run into an obstacle, for instance, you can rethink a few things. So one of my best examples of that is the young battle captain, a young happy captain or a major in the operations cell, runs to the commander. He's like, sir, I have a problem. What is it? Sir, we're surrounded. And instead of fearing the wrath of a very, forceful and mighty warrior, the commander that's had resiliency training thinks, oh, that's awesome. We can attack from any direction. So think about that. Sometimes when you think things are at the worst, it actually has a silver lining. So keep that in mind. The other thing I want to talk about today as we get ready to roll into the Independence weekend is so what do we do about it? We've talked about the risk factors. We've talked about the warning signs. I mentioned the myths about having the courage to come forward. I also like to use another analogy, that if you've had a little small cut on your hand or something like that, and it starts to get a little red and a little bubbly, and maybe you start to see some pus, most people will start to seek care from that. Mental health and some of the other things that sometimes cause suicide is really nothing different. Sometimes it gets to be something that you need to have somebody else take a look at and somebody else to give you some advice. So the thing that I would like to have you keep in mind is that ACE. So in the military, it makes it easy for guys like me. So if I can remember ACE, so when I come into a suicidal type of a situation, a friend, a battle buddy, and oh, by the way, it's not just the military. There's a lot of suicide that's happening in the civilian world as well. It's just I'm not really that familiar with that. I've been in the military since 1987, and so I'm sure it's happening. I saw some friends on Facebook that are dealing with some of the cases where someone has gone ahead and committed suicide, and the people that are left behind are feeling some guilt because what could I have done? I guess what they can do now is just continue to move forward, continue to develop their resiliency skills, and get help. Talk to some other people about that. You're not the only one. So ACE. So ACE is ask them. Don't be afraid to ask them if they're going to harm themselves. If they have a plan, it's even a higher priority that you get them for the next one is care. So seek care for them and listen to them. Don't try not to be judgmental. Just listen in most cases. And then the E is for escort. And in this digital age, it may even be more of a challenge because you're probably FaceTiming with them, you're on the phone with them. But some of the things you can do is call the local 911 if you can get their address, if you know where they're at. The bottom line is stay connected with them. Don't drop off the line until help arrives and they get the help that they need. So that's ACE, ask, care, and escort. And remember the number that in the other videos I've asked you to go ahead and program that into your phone. That's 1-800-273-TALK. So that's right down the middle. 88255 is TALK. Okay, so let's get after this. I need to figure out a way to speed these up. But so look at that, another Hunt the Good Stuff. Today we've had a bunch of rainy days here in Alabama, and one thing that I've learned here in Alabama is you don't go very many days before you actually wish you had the rain back, especially here in the summer when we have the shade. But one thing that's kind of associated with that is just like in life, there's a lot of rainy days, but then the sun comes out. They don't last forever. Sometimes they last longer than other times, but they don't last forever. So it's just kind of a thing that goes with it. And just like the rolling tide and the thunder and stuff like that, you have to go with it. Anyway, let's get after this. 1, And one more for that warrior in the sky. Remember, let's get after this. 2-2. Have a great weekend. Remember to wash your hands, try to avoid touching your face, and wear a face covering when you can't social distance. Let's get after this. Let's get way to the left of these suicides. And the bottom line is, check on people and just be a little bit kinder, everyone. All right, let's go. 2-2.